Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully all doing very, very well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Thank you very, very much. I say good morning. I'm fully aware that it is evening back in the UK, but I am in California. Well, it still is early in the morning. I'm here on behalf of Gator Light and Dazn. We're working on a few things, a few exciting things as well. And then I'm back to the UK on Monday. So yeah, here for a couple of days. I've just gone for a walk and it is very, very beautiful. It's good weather out there as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing Munguia fight. I've not seen Munguia fight in person. I've never ever worked on a Golden Boy show as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they do things. Obviously I've worked on a Matchroom show. I've gone to loads of Frank Warren shows before. So I kind of see what goes on behind the scenes there. It'll be interesting to see what Oscar De La Hoya and the team do. And I'm really looking forward to, hopefully he's here. I've not seen him yet, but I really hope Bernard Hopkins is here. I know he's normally at every single Golden Boy event, obviously works on them. I can't wait to see him because he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. So if you see my Instagram flooded with Bernard Hopkins pictures, forgive me. I'm a big Bernard Hopkins fan. All right, let's see what there is to talk about from the world of boxing today. No doubt a lot's happened in the last couple of days. Derek Chisora, Kubrat Pulev face-to-face. We'll leave that one alone. I was supposed to do it. I was asked, I think I said this on a video before, I was asked to do the face-off between those two. I couldn't do it, obviously, because I was traveling over here. It's a shame. That would have been interesting. Eddie Hearn did it. So if any of you have already thought Ade lost his job already, no, I haven't. I just couldn't do it because I was traveling over here. Trevor Bryan versus Daniel Dubois is tomorrow. Daniel Dubois, he almost needs to come out of this shell. Look, this has nothing to do with his boxing ability. It's just what I personally want to see from him. Like, he's almost, I don't know, man. He's almost too quiet, too humble for my liking. I want to see him just, and look, he's still a very, very young guy. What's Daniel Dubois, 24, I think, 23, 24. So that still might, he still might come out of this shell. But I just want someone to kind of, I don't know, man, just fucking shake him. Like, just shake him a bit for me. Look, I think it's going to be a tough fight as well. I say tough fight, I just don't think Danny Dubois is going to blow him away in the first couple of rounds that everyone expects. I almost want to see him come through some adversity, just so I know mentally that he is fully recovered from that Joe Joyce fight, because I still think that will be in the back of his head. Remember the last two fights after the Joe Joyce fight, obviously he's linked up with Shane McGuigan, but those last two fights have ended so quickly. So we don't know, and he didn't have to come through anything in those fights. So I almost want to see him tested just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, so I can see that, okay, yeah, he's ready to go through the fire again. And I think Trevor Bryan might ask him some questions. Look, I'm not going to pretend that Trevor Bryan's a top 10 or top 10 or top 15 heavyweight, but he is unbeaten. It's in his backyard, so to speak. This is his promotion that are putting it on, you know. So, you know, he's got some pride there. And also, and I mentioned this in a video the other day, the carrot being dangled in front of Trevor Bryan's face is that he's a WBA regular heavyweight champion. The next fight might be a big money fight. Whether or not it's a world title fight or a final eliminator, the next fight's going to be big money. So if you're Trevor Bryan, I think Trevor Bryan's 32, 33, there aren't that many more opportunities to get big money fights. So he'll look at Daniel Dubois as a stepping stone to something big. So I think Dubois might have a bit of a gut check in this one. I hope he comes through because I'm a big fan of his, and I think he will come through as well. Eddie Hearn here explaining the issues regarding Taylor Serrano rematch. Eddie Hearn was on TalkSport with Derek Chisora yesterday alongside Simon Jordan and Jim White, talking about obviously mainly Chisora versus Pulev, but obviously fielding questions about other things. And this is a question that came up, like what's going on with the Taylor Serrano rematch. The first one was fantastic, and not just the fight, but the numbers. Remember, it was like record numbers for Dazn on the app. It was sold out Madison Square Garden. The promotion, the push it gave for female boxing, that's something that should easily happen again. I think the problem is because of all those things I've just spoken about, that promotion, the record buys, everyone wants a bit more money. So if you are, you know, Amanda Serrano's side, obviously looked after by Jake Paul, you're thinking, okay, for the rematch, you know, we want a bit more of that, and rightly so. I think the only way to get a bit more of that is if the gate is a lot bigger. And for the gate to be bigger, you've got to go to Croke Park, where you're going to do 80,000. And then obviously you make a bit more on the gate, and fingers crossed that's a bit more in everyone's pocket. If I'm Amanda Serrano, I don't really want to go to Croke Park. And I personally, from my standpoint, I want to see the fight in Madison Square Garden. The Irish contingent are already there, but you've got the Puerto Rican contingent as well. And I think it creates a better atmosphere. And I think that's fair. But if it goes to Madison Square Garden, you're not going to do any better in terms of numbers and sign-ups than you already did. So the money's going to stay the same. So I guess there's a balance there that needs to be had. And I don't know if that's the full reason. I'm just thinking as to why it's not happening next. Because there's no way both don't want it. I've interviewed Katie Taylor after the fight. She wants it again. Amanda Serrano, I saw straight after, wants to fight 100%. Remember, she did something in the change room immediately after. Like, she was hitting pads saying, let's go again. She wants to fight. It always comes down to that. And the only way it makes a bit more of that is if maybe it goes to Ireland, where you make a lot more on the gate. Talking about money, let's talk about one of the biggest fighters when it comes to money in all of boxing, maybe in all of boxing history, and that's Anthony Joshua. Now, there has been a hold-up in announcing this Usyk versus AJ rematch. We know it's Saudi Arabia. The date keeps on getting moved. Before it was end of July, I think July 23rd, or now it's being moved to August. And questions were being asked, like, what's going on? Why have we not announced the fight? What's happening? I think we all know now why the fight wasn't announced or hasn't been announced. That's because AJ looks like he might switch from Sky Sports to Dazn, which is massive, massive news for Dazn and a massive, massive blow for Sky Sports. Obviously, AJ has been with Sky Sports since he turned professional and has done incredible numbers for Sky Sports, especially in their box office, incredible numbers. So for him to switch over to Dazn are offering him a big check. Like, it must be I don't know the number, but we kind of heard whispers about what Canelo's getting and what Golovkin was getting and what Dazn offered Deontay Wilder to fight AJ. So it's going to be really, really big numbers. And if you're Dazn, this is a big boost. This is huge. You want to get big numbers, especially on their new pay-per-view platform. You want to get big numbers. I mean, AJ almost guarantees you big numbers, and this rematch, which everyone's intrigued about, guarantees you big numbers. Does it, though, without the Sky Sports machine, get the numbers that AJ's used to getting? Those are going to be the questions. I mean, if you think about the way in which Dazn can promote this fight, Dazn obviously can promote it on their app and their platform, and then the rest of the promotion is going to be done by Matchroom. But if you think of Sky Sports and how they push and promote a fight, the way they cross-promote it, so you could be watching Monday Night Football and then there's the thing on the side which says, Kell Brook versus Amir Khan, and then, Carragher will talk about it, Neville might mention it. The ticker that goes along, it's just promoted so well, it's pushed so well, it's in your face. So whether or not you're a boxing fan, if you've just tuned in for football, okay, Kell Brook, Amir Khan's happening on the weekend. It's always thrown in your face, you know about it. Now with Dazn, AJ's not going to get that. He's not going to get that. Look, AJ won't mind, because I'm guessing the guarantee he's got from Dazn is crazy. He's still going to get paid. But for Dazn to get a return on their investment, you're going to need this to do really big, big numbers. And again, without the Sky Sports machine, will it do big, big numbers? Will it? And this is something, I guess, if you're Dazn bigwigs, you're going to have to think of going forward. Like, how do we really push and promote our fights to the point where every single person knows about it, not just boxing fans. All boxing fans know about Dazn's events. If you're a boxing fan, you know it's on. But if you're not, how do you know? Because I always say, for the fights to get real big, big numbers, forget us boxing fans, we're like that. We're tiny. You need the casuals to jump on. And once the casuals jump on, then it becomes enormous figures. And the only way the casuals jump on is if they 100% know a fight's happening, because they're flooded with information from all avenues. And I just don't know, without Sky Sports, whether or not people are really going to know Usyk versus AJ is happening. I know that might sound silly, but we're in a boxing bubble. Take yourself out of a boxing bubble. Again, I've got friends that are just sport fans, and I always go to them first and hear from them. Do you guys know this is going on? As soon as they say no, I know there's a problem. And I just wonder, in the lead up to Usyk versus AJ, will they know it's going on without the Sky Sports machine? For Sky, obviously, it's a massive blow. Massive, massive blow. They would have sort of, penciled in the pay-per-view options they're going to have Kell Brook, Amir Khan would have been one. Usyk AJ would certainly have been another. That's now off the table. I don't think, and people might shoot me down here, Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields for me isn't a pay-per-view. So the pay-per-view would have been good because, again, the pay-per-view for AJ generate huge numbers. They're huge. So look, going back to this for DAZN, this is massive. Not only do you now have the international rights for AJ, which again are big numbers, you've got the UK rights. So literally, it's all in now. We're all in on AJ. Bear in mind, they've got Canelo versus GGG, and they'll hope that they can keep Canelo on DAZN, and now they've got AJ. Look, if AJ loses, then their return on investment might not be great. If AJ beats Usyk, well then they're quids in. Then they're talking, because then he's stock, which is already big, goes through the window again, and now everyone then starts talking about AJ versus Fury. But yeah, that's the big news. That's why there's been a hold up. And I think Eddie also said on TalkSport interview that it's going to be announced next week. Like, everything will be announced next week. And I'm sure when it is announced, we're going to get a date of August, and we're going to get an announcement that AJ is now signed fully with DAZN. Big news, that one. What else have we got over here? Let's have a quick look. I'm excited, by the way, to see Munguia fight. Obviously, a lot has been spoken about Jaime Munguia, 39-0. Still young. I think he's only like 25 years of age. And we're starting to see what he's like up close and personal, the size of him. Obviously, this fight's at super middleweight. I still think he should be a middleweight. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do against Jimmy Kelly. Look, Jimmy Kelly might not be the opponent to bring out the best in him, but you can still see how good someone is regardless of the opponent. So I'm looking forward to see what Jaime Munguia can do. I still want to see him, Charlo, Benavidez, Canelo, potentially. There are good fights out there for him. People have been speaking about Chris Eubank Jr. back down at 160. There are big fights out there, and I think it's time we see him in against someone that you think he could lose against, as opposed to him being a massive odds-on favourite right now. Look, he's going to be, potentially, come Saturday night, 40-0. But then you look through the resume and like, okay, you're 40-0. What's going on? It's a bit like Gilberto Ramirez. So you look at the record and he's unbeaten. What's Gilberto Ramirez? 44, 45-0? And you think, okay, but what's there? Munguia's sort of becoming that as well now, isn't he? Edgar Berlanga against Alexis Angulo this weekend as well. Not sure about Berlanga. Not sure. We'll see how he gets on, but yeah, I'm not 100% convinced about Berlanga. You never know. We'll see. What else is there to talk about? Let's have a look here. What's this one? Archie Sharp. I'm living in Shakur Stevenson's head rent-free. You're not. Sorry to kind of, not at all. Look, like, I'm always hesitant to talk about young fighters and say they're going to be this and that because, I've been watching the sport of boxing for a long time. I've seen so many young fighters that I thought were going to be something. And look, fighters that have gone on to maybe win a world title, but I thought they were going to be incredible. And they're not that. They don't hit that. For whatever it is, hump in the road, they can't get over it, whatever. Shakur Stevenson's going to be incredible. He already is incredible for me. He's the best super featherweight on the planet by some distance. And if he were to fight Archie Sharp, he would go through the gears very quickly and make it look routine. Trust me, when Shakur Stevenson puts his head down at night, he's not thinking about Archie Sharp. He's thinking about the guys at lightweight. He's potentially thinking about, okay, I wouldn't mind going to England to fight Joe Cordina. He's not thinking about Archie Sharp. And back to that Joe Cordina one. Look, if the fight was made tomorrow, you'd put all your money on Shakur Stevenson. This isn't a disrespect to Joe Cordina, but again, Shakur Stevenson's that good. But if anyone has the boxing ability in the super featherweight division to cause him problems, it is Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina is a fantastic boxer. The amateur record tells me that. Very good boxer. And I think we've seen recently with wins over Joshua Hernandez and Kenichi Ogawa, he's got one punch KO power. He might be the hardest hitting super featherweight. And that's something I never thought I would ever label with Joe Cordina. I didn't think he was that, but he cracks. He can hit. And when he hits, he puts you to sleep. There isn't like he hits you and you get up again. No, you're out, flat out. And that's something he's added to his arsenal. So I think it'll be an interesting fight. But back to Archie Sharp. Dude, come on. Look, you've got to say all these things, but no. No. Richard Riakporhe fights this weekend as well. He takes on Fabio Turchi. Richard Riapol, 32 now. I know they want the Makabu fight. I spoke to Ben Shalom, I don't even know what day it is, a couple of days ago, yesterday, and they want the Makabu fight. Everyone wants the Makabu fight just because Makabu is the one that looks like he is coming to the end. It's a WBC title as well. He gets that Makabu fight, not looking past Turchi, but he gets that Makabu fight. And then you begin to think, okay, if he can beat Makabu, you start to sell the Okoli fight. Champion versus champion, it's an easy fight to sell. It's not a fight that will do good numbers, but it's a fight that makes sense. At the time, it would be two unbeaten guys. They're both heavyweights, masquerading as cruiserweights. I like the fight a lot. I'd obviously go Okoli in the fight, but I like it a lot. This is a good fight that's been added to Pulev Chisora, Madrimov versus Soro rematch. I don't know if you guys remember what happened in that fight. If you don't remember, I'm not going to go through it now, but just go onto YouTube and watch it. Very, very controversial. Like very. Madrimov won, shouldn't have won. Just go and watch it if you can. 2 seconds. Anything else? A bit here on De La Hoya. Hearn got Canelo beat. Bivol was irrelevant. Nobody knew him. Interesting. Hearn didn't. Basically, what he's trying to say is that why did Hearn put Canelo in with Bivol? It's silly. It's really silly talk from Oscar. Oscar as a promoter is one thing. Oscar as a fighter was another thing altogether. That's basically trying to say, like, it's almost like, what's the point in putting these boxers in with people that are not known? So it's only known fighters versus known fighters. If you don't have any value, then you're not going to get an opportunity. Can't stand that talk, if I'm honest with you. But we'll see. Devin Haney is saying a possibility of him moving up to 140 next. Not ruling out anything. What's going to happen then with the Kambosos rematch? I mean, legally, I'm sure Kambosos is in a strong position. I think the only thing that can happen is Devin Haney and his team paying Kambosos off. That's the only thing that can happen, because I'm sure it's in a contract that Kambosos gets the rematch. And it's not going to be easy to step aside from that rematch. Not going to be easy at all. All right, guys, we are done. Thank you very much. We're back to the UK on Monday. I land at something like 3 o'clock, but we'll go straight to the studio and react on everything that's happened over the weekend. And hopefully, by the time I get back, we've got an announcement of Usyk versus AJ. Peace and love.